What's going on, Mike, man? What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Just grinding out. Almost done with my CCIM, which is Certified Commercial Investment Management designation for commercial real estate. I'm on my last class now, and hopefully I'll test out in April because they only allow you to test out twice a year, believe it or not. So I got to find that right time that it fits in within my schedule too. But working on that, man, and then just getting the team going. But nothing else beyond that. What about you?
Not much. I saw you got the obsessed little
Ah,
jar there, and then not too long ago, I think you put out the little. Oh, I thought that was from the 10x growth thing. You know what I mean?
No, so my mom actually got me this for Christmas, and she literally looked at my old laptop, and I had a 5 pillar sticker. I had the obsessed from 10x GrowthCon. I had all that stuff, and she got this made for me
oh,
with my company colors and then my name on there. So shout
oh,
out, yeah, appreciate ya. But yeah, it's a nice one, man. So and look, it says obsessed with financial intelligence. I don't know if y'all can see that.
oh, I like that. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
All right,
So that's
nice,
fun,
man. You
man.
gotta shout out to Mom Dukes, man. She's hooking you up with the
Oh
nice
yeah.
stuff on there. But yeah, I don't got too much going on today. Well, today actually I'm doing a garage sale, so we gotta do this one a little quicker, and then be selling off some stuff. I got a lot of furniture and some things that we're selling off, so I'll go post a little garage sale signs. Hopefully, I'll make at least 1,000 because I'm selling a washer and dryer and some other things. So got a lot of interest, but we'll see how that goes. Nice little influx of cash there, and
We're gonna offer you a smooth $5 per washer and dryer. You know how people be at garage sales, man. They're like,
that's
"Will
it.
you take five?"
I'm like, well, this is junk. You see that scratch right there?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll give you 5. That's it. I'm giving you a deal.
yeah. Giving you a deal, and you have to deliver it for me.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, take that little bit of cash, and then we'll go do something with it. I'm not sure. We'll see, but should be good times. Other than that, I'm still studying for my test. I'm taking it next week, my real estate exam. So
Nice.
I got some more studying to do, and then we'll be off to the races hopefully. So hopefully a first time pass, and then we're done, and then and get together and start doing this real estate selling and buying and things like that for other people. So
Yep.
be pretty fun. So today's guest, we have a great guest. We have a single active duty soldier who bought his first duplex, and he did it without BAH. So this is going to be a great episode. It's pretty interesting, man. We talk about we talk about a lot here how he did it. His name is Paul, and he just starting his journey off early. So it's
I think
good stuff.
I think that's the biggest thing is, most of us talk about, oh, how we wish we could have started earlier. And this young gentleman is showing exactly what that looks like at the age of 20 years old. He was able to figure out the financing process. He had an accountability partner to hold him down. He had a nice little role model, his older brother, and he decided ultimately to take action, even battling through analysis paralysis and all that good stuff. He was able to acquire a property. Now, get this, some people will call this a home run. Some people call it a base hit. Regardless, he understood the whole process and he still walked away with a triple digit return on his money. That's the power of a homeowner occupied loan, especially the VA home loan. So this is going to be crazy, and the energy that he gives out and the nuggets that he's dropping for young people to get started is priceless, man. So I'm ready to get started with it.
I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of commanders and single soldiers out there, like kind of battling it out, and single soldiers getting some more property here in the future after they listen to this episode, because he really kind of explains how to go about it and how to do it the right way. So it'll be a great listen. And with that, stay tuned. What's going on, Military Cashflow? Today we got a special guest, Paul Farmer. He's a 20-year-old active duty Army service member, and he just got his first duplex. And we're going to talk about it all. He's just crushing the game right now. So thanks for coming to the show, Paul. Really appreciate it. Tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you're doing.
Yeah, Dan. Thank you, Dan and Mike, for getting me the opportunity to get on your podcast and to show my story. Um, A little bit about myself. So my name is Paul Farmer. I'm 20 years old. Um, Active duty in the Army, stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas. Um, I went to high school at Cleveland. So I was born in Philadelphia and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. And I played a couple of sports, high school football in high school, and kind of like a student athlete. I had a couple of college scholarships to play ball, but I knew I wasn't ready to do that because I didn't want to waste other people's money on me, because I knew I wasn't ready to like give it my all. So I wasn't going to let them waste their money on me. So I joined right after high school. I graduated high school in May, joined basic training in June. Um, and it's already been 2.5 years since I've been in the service already. And that's about it. I'm a 15 Papa. I'm an aviation operations specialist. So I work on flight operations. I do flight tracking, and I talk to pilots on the radio. So I don't really have too much of a backstory. I'm super young, so usually I see in your interviews they talk about a couple of deals, but this is my first one. So
let me ask you, man, because what you just said was a very mature thought that doesn't come across many 18, 19, 17-year-olds. You said that you've turned down scholarships to join the military. Walk us through what that kind of decision point looked like for you, because I know personally, I was going to join the military, but I was like, if I get a scholarship, I'm dipping. So what was your thought process?
So with those scholarships, so I played football. I had a couple of scholarships. It wasn't any full ride or anything like that, but it's still an opportunity to go on the next level to demonstrate my play. But I knew, because during high school I had a couple of like going through some adversity. Like my coach, my senior coach, he had passed away due to colon cancer. So I knew that kind of messed my head up, like, because I was focused. I used to go to honors classes, I had AP classes. I was on the right track to go to college. But as soon as that happened, like, I just kind of like lost the motivation. And I knew that I didn't want to waste. Me personally, I'm like the type of person that if you give me an opportunity, I'll take it and I will go 100% through it all. And I seen those scholarships coming in. I'm like, I'm not ready for it. I won't give it all, my all. So I decided, I'm like, the best thing right now is to go to the military. Because one, I can travel. Two, I'm young, so I can just mess up if I mess up. And then three, I can get back on that discipline and, get back on getting motivated. Because the Army will make sure that, you're motivated every day. So that was kind of like the decision for me.
False motivation is better than no motivation.
Right.
Y'all remember that? Okay. Yeah, that's a very insightful thought, man. There's a lot of kids that say, and I'm not calling you a kid by any means, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people coming out of high school that they'll do anything to avoid the military, right? And so you decided, hey, out of the alternatives, I think my best option is to join the military for some very legitimate reasons, not for the coin to serve my nation, right? And nothing wrong with that, but a lot of people will say that, and we all know that that's really a false thing. There's some other underlying motivation, and yours is very clear. You wanted a little bit more guidance, a little bit more discipline. So I think that's a very mature thought for you to have at such a pivotal point. I can't speak to that well, at a very important point in your life. So kudos to that one.
Appreciate that, Mike.
Hey, dude, that's crazy. So how did we so we decided to get into the military? It seems like you might have had like a deliberate plan, because you were saying, hey, I'm not ready for college right now. Not really, going to be focused and be able to put in my all. So what was your plan joining the military, right? I know you said you wanted discipline, but I imagine that you had some kind of plan. And then how did that lead to real estate?
Yeah. So my brother, actually, he's a sergeant first class in the Army. And I haven't seen him growing up a whole lot, but I seen the pictures that he used to send to my mom and me. It was just like he would go on trips and show everything around the whole country. And so I knew if I joined the Army, I kind of was going to be like my big brother, like, traveling, seeing all different types of places. And I had joined, and what I wanted to see was my main goal. I was gonna do 20 years, 20 years as soon as I enlisted. And that was kind of like fading away every like quarter of the month in the military. So I knew like I didn't want to work the rest of my life to enjoy the remaining of my lifespan. So I knew when I joined at 18, I joined at 18. 20 years from now, I'm going to be 30, 38. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But since I deployed, so a little backstory of the military. So when I joined in 2018, 2019, I got to my first duty station at ft.Riley. And luckily, my brother is stationed at the same spot as me. So I kind of was like, kind of like fortunate enough to have my brother here. And he already had invested in real estate. So he already had about 6 properties that he had. And I used to go to his house every day. Well, every weekend after work on Fridays, come to his house and just stay the night. And I remember we used to drive, and he was closing on a property, a triplex. He had bought a triplex. And he was telling me, if you ever want to invest in real estate, get multifamily. I'm like, well, what's the whole point of it? Like, and he was telling me how, like, you live in one side, the other people are paying off the mortgage, and plus you can cash, the rest of the money. And so we went on deployment. About in February, we went to Iraq in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. And my brother told me to read Rich Dad Poor Dad while I was down there. And so I read that book, and it completely changed my whole thought process of how, I can turn like my active money into passive income, and just how things work when it comes to taxes, and especially with real estate, just buying it and holding it and see the outcome of it and building generational wealth, not just for you, but your whole family down the tree. So that kind of lit the fire for me with real estate. And after that, it was like the first 2 months in Iraq. Then after that, I started ordering more books about real estate and how money works. And I just kept going and going. And me and my friend Juan, that you guys interviewed already, we were deployed together. And we would just be trading books, switching books. I'll give him a book. He'll give me his book that he read. And we kind of like, kept each other accountable. And we came back in November and of 2019, and then I was kind of stuck in that
paralysis.
Yes, that. So I was stuck in that for like 10 months, and I didn't know. I kind of had a plan, but I was just scared to actually do it, because I'm single, I'm in the barracks, like there's a lot of stress for me that I was thinking to myself. And Juan, he had called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a house. I think you should start looking for it too, because I'm ready to buy a house." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm single soldier. I'm in the barracks. Like they're not gonna let me do it." Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Man, just try it, because I got approved for the VA loan." And I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't know what I'm waiting for. It's like, if it doesn't get approved, it doesn't get approved. But at least I know, instead of thinking about it. So I called a local lender, and I said, "Do you guys do VA loans?" He's like, "Yeah." And so I got approved for the VA loan as a single soldier without BAH. And that kind of lit the fire for me. So then what I did, I started looking around areas from where Juan was buying the houses. And I used to call the realtors that they posted their bandit signs in front of the houses. And I used to call them. I called about 7 of them. And I said, "Hey, I'm Paul. I already got pre-approved for the VA loan, and I'm just interested in buying a property." And out of those 7 I called, about 4 of them replied back, and like 3 of them kind of like was consistently giving me like feedback. And I had texted my brother like, "Hey, did you know any realtor around the area?" And they gave me one. And her name is Victoria Berlin. And she's amazing. Like, we clicked off like that. And we started off, I seen about 3 houses with her. And she found this property that I bought off market. And that was it only took 2 months for the whole process. I started in October of 2020, and I closed on the property December 31st, 2020.
Nice, man.
So I got a couple questions. The first thing, you're looking for a realtor. I'm just going to throw out a plug. You should have went to militarycashflow.com, so we bet realtors for people just like that, so we bet realtors, just like you said, you reach out to, I think 7 and only 3 replied. I mean, that's pretty much what we do for free for other service members to avoid all that pain. I think it sounds like you went through 8 realtors to finally find one, right? Well, we can that for you. If you just go to militarycashflow.com, tell us what you're looking for. We literally call, we vet, and we make sure that realtors understand the importance of an investment property, the numbers behind the investment property, and then also that are military friendly as well. So that's 1. 2, I'm noticing, it looks like I got the background right there. I'm noticing your background. It seems like you're in the barracks, right?
These are the barracks.
So if you are in the barracks, right, and you said you just bought a duplex, right?
Yes.
How's that working? What's
so with me, since I didn't get BAH, I still technically have a barracks room, but the only reason why I'm here today is because I was packing most of everything to the house, because I am living in there. Most of my stuff is at the other house, but plus I'm remodeling on the other side of the property. So I kind of didn't want to have paint and all that stuff on my stuff. So I'm kind of like in and out, but I'm living in the barracks.
I will say this, many people don't know this. A lot of even some officers may not even be aware, but a lot of civilians aren't aware of this. If you are an E5, which is a sergeant in the Army, E5 or below, you do not receive BAH if you're single.
Yep.
And that is one of the biggest hurdles that junior enlisted face, because I was the same issue. Now you're 4 years ahead of me because I didn't buy my first property until I was 24. I was in E5 at the time. And I was searching for a house, got VA approved and all that other good stuff, but I was not going to receive BAH until I reached E6. So that is a hurdle within itself. What was your decision? Because so many people said, why would you go do that when you got a free barrack? You got a place to stay for free. What was your decisive point to say, screw the BAH?
So with me, I love money, and I love, getting money and saving money. And I knew in the Army, a lot of young soldiers, they get married for money. And I knew, me personally, I wasn't gonna get married at a young age. Plus that's just a whole mess down the road with that. And plus, anyone who lives in the barracks knows about the barracks. Like it can really be a killer for everyone. With just knowing the fact that your NCO or anyone can just come in your room and your living area and just check it whenever they want to. It can be uninspected. Like you didn't have to tell you nothing at all. They just pop up and then they're doing a room inspection. So that kind of like lit the fire for me, because I didn't want to do all that. And I just hate the fact that, someone can come in anytime and I have to be there and just open the door for them. So that's why I decided, because usually that's correct with E5 and below. If you're single, you live in the barracks. And that was kind of why I was hesitant to apply for the VA loan, because usually whoever buys the VA loan, they're usually married. I didn't really know single soldiers could do it. And I got approved. So, and that kind of like just took off. I'm like, you know what, I'm getting out the barracks.
I just want to highlight that point. Single soldier E5 and below was approved for a VA loan. That's all I'm going to say. So for everybody out there that thinks that that's a, the myth is now busted. Oh, I'm an E3 and I can't afford it. That's absolute bullshit. Obviously, it depends on a lot of things, right? Credit score, income, and all that other good stuff. But nonetheless, it is possible. So if you are interested in it, guys, go out there and at least speak to a lender to see if you qualify.
Yeah, that is true. I'll add on to that too, as well, is that, it was going to be a struggle for me to get approved as a single soldier. But with me, I made sure that I was in the right situation. So When I was in Iraq, in 2019, I worked consistently on my credit score. So credit for me was like the king of all. To me personally, credit, if you don't have good credit, you're basically you're just someone just walking around. No one's really paying attention to you. If you have good credit, everyone wants your attention. So I knew early in the game that if I want to go somewhere, I need to be financially stable. So I was working hesitant on my credit score while I was in Iraq, and plus the Iraq money. I came back. I went to Iraq as a PV2, came back as a PFC, and I had about 25,000 saved up. So that kind of helped out too as well. But more to it is that I didn't use that whole 25 because I was a PFC in the Army. So I kind of, I spent money. But when I started the whole process, they didn't even really, I didn't have that 25. I put it invested in stocks, but I started off with that with like 3,000 or 4,000 in my savings account when they checked my little debt to income. But because me personally, credit for me, I have a credit card, but I don't have debt. You know what I'm saying? I had less than $200 that I owed.
And how long were you in Iraq?
9 months.
So you were there 9 months, came back with 25 grand. You ain't buy a Charger?
Oh, nah. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that a lot of people, I've noticed that a lot of soldiers who are E5 and below that live in the barracks, they say they can't do this, they can't do that financially, but if they look at the expenses that they have, they just blowing it. And me personally, I love having money, just knowing I have money in my bank account, or knowing I have money in my pocket. That's the drive for me. And I guess if they're able to realize that if you just hold on to the gratification and just wait just a couple 1 or 2 years, you'll be able to buy that Charger, that Ford, that pickup truck down the road and have your assets pay for that.
Your assets pay for your liabilities because of delayed gratification. Yes, completely agree. Yes.
What you mentioned a lot of different things that built you up to this level of confidence. And I wrote them all down here, but you had some influence from family members, your brother, very specifically, that kind of gave you that guidance. Great. You started reading books, then you became an avid learner from that point on. You was just digesting books, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And you had an accountability partner. I think that's probably the biggest catalyst, maybe not for you, but I know for me personally, when I get an accountability partner, the game changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from there, you did all that research, even though you had a little analysis paralysis, you was still learning. You still had that accountability partner, and that accountability partner said, man, just go in and just do it. And you said, all right, cool. You got your stuff together, went to that commander and said, sir, let me get this.
Yeah. And that's the thing with having someone that can keep you accountable, is that, because me and him were both going through it, but we were like, with Juan, he's just so, like, he's into everything. And me personally, I'm like more of a real estate, and I was getting into stocks too. So we were kind of messing around with the stock market and stuff like that, especially with the whole pandemic. So that's another reason why we kind of like took a side of real estate, because there was money in the stock market. But having someone to have you gives you accountable is like the game changer, like you said, because honestly, he told me, like, what do you wait? Like, just do it. Like, just go ahead and like get the approval, or just ask for it. And I'm like, what am I waiting for? I told myself that. I'm like, what am I waiting for? So I'm like, yeah, let's just do it. And then after that, the momentum just kept on going.
So give us a breakdown on the deal, man. Give us a breakdown on the deal. How do you find it? How, I mean, I kind of know how you found it. You kind of touched on that a little bit, but we know how you financed it, but like, what are the numbers look like? What does all that look like for you, and how is it improving? How is it going to improve your situation, especially if you're doing it without BAH?
Yeah. So, all right. So for the deal, so my agent, my realtor, she had found the property November 4th. I still remember the day, November 4th, 2020. She showed me this property off market, and it's a duplex. One side has an attached 2-car garage, and the other one is just, it doesn't have it's more smaller, but it doesn't have a garage either. And both of them have their own separate backyards and all that. And it was listed for 165 at that moment. And I was kind of hesitant. We seen the property. The property was because they were moving out the tenant that used to live there, and they lived there for like 10 years. I was told. So the house was kind of like had smoke, debris on the ceilings, and all that. I'm like, I don't even know what the heck I'm looking at. Like this is kind of nasty. And my agent told me that the seller is not going to sell it yet because they're going to do a full remodel on the side that has the 2-car garage. So like completely, that was a game changer for me, and like how powerful like real estate can be, because with that remodel, they put vinyl flooring on the whole floor, throughout the whole house, new kitchen cabinets, new appliances on both sides, so brand new appliances, and I kept running the numbers. So the rent before was so once with the attached garage door, it was at about 1,100, and then on the other side that I'm currently living in, that was rented out for 750, just as is. And I knew with that remodeling that they're doing on that side, I was going to raise rent to either 1,270, like 1,200 to like 1,300 that frame. And plus, I wasn't doing the work. So I told my agent before we found that property, I wanted to get a duplex or multifamily that needed some work, but not a whole bunch of work. So with the seller actually remodeling that whole side, the other side was already rent ready. It just needed to touch up on paint and new flooring. So we closed on the deal December 31st, and it took 2 months because of the whole remodeling phase that the house was going through. And I was always doing my numbers. I looked up so many YouTube videos on how to calculate, the rental income, the cash flow. And I was doing all my numbers and just playing with the numbers. And I realized even with the VA loan, like my return on investment was going to be in like triple digits. So I kind of was hesitant. So I told my brother, since he was already into, real estate, I showed him the papers that I had and the numbers. He said, yeah, it's a pretty good deal to have, especially for a starter, like a rookie in the game. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I have here, but I was like scratching my head. I'm like, and my heart started just pumping because like, I don't know if I hit a home run or like, it was just going to be a good one. So I kept running through the numbers and playing with it. And I started getting the cash flow about $550 to $400 of cash flow a month after everything was paid for and like saved up, like with the repairs, the capex, the vacancy, and all that stuff. And plus, it's right off post, so it's like a military neighborhood. So I knew the vacancy wasn't going to be that high. So we ran the numbers, and we closed on the house. So I bought the house for $195. They put about $25,000 into the remodeling phase. So that was kind of where I kind of was hesitant and wish I could have, like, a lesson that I learned was, negotiate is the best way to go. Because I knew that they were going to ask for 195 after they finished it with the rephasing. But my first offer was 185 with 5,000 in closing costs. And the seller, he renegotiated, he counter offered, and he said 200,000. I'm like, why are you going up? Like, this makes no sense. So I started getting scared, and plus I was doing the numbers consistently, and I seen like the profit just with having it at 195. So I knew I wasn't gonna start off with equity, like instant equity, but I knew like I can just build that equity with the cash flow and like put it into principal. So I'm like, you know what? I might as well just stick with the 195 because I didn't want to lose this one. So I said 195. We got it done. And now I have a tenant that's moving in next month on the side that got remodeled, and that's already paying off my mortgage. Or I have to pay $25 out of my own pocket to keep up with the mortgage and the property management.
Nice. So you rent it out for what you said, $1,250?
No, so I rent it. So that's another thing too. I was hesitant. I didn't know what was the right rent numbers to put it up.
Your realtor didn't help you with that? Your realtor didn't help you with that one?
They did. The thing was for me is that I knew me personally, I didn't want to be greedy. And plus, I didn't, how you say it, I didn't want to just think about fully about the money. I just want to think about the whole process of real estate and how, as an investor, I can grow from it. So I wasn't trying to be, greedy with the money, because I knew the money was gonna come down the road. So I'm like, okay, so how can I make sure that this house will get filled with the right family, and they'll love it, and they'll make sure that they keep it intact. So I was playing with the rent on that side. So I started off with 1,300. I maxed it out. And it took about like 1 week, and I was like so hesitant, like, why is no one picking it up? Why is no one picking it up? A lot of people were viewing the house, but it's just like no one was saying, like, I'm okay with the rent. Like, all right, cool. I dropped it down to 1,275. Even more people started showing up. I'm like, all right, cool. Now we're going somewhere. And I'm like, you know what? I started getting off to my mortgage payment, and I had to pay the first mortgage by myself. I'm like, all right, now it's time to start thinking about, I ain't trying to waste all the money that I have up, because I knew this house can be rented out quick. So I'm like, all right, so let me just put it for 1,200. And right when I put it on 1,200, 2 days later, we got someone approved. They checked the background on it, and they're in the military too. And they're coming in. They're in a different station, and they're coming in. So they're going to be here for about 3 years, hopefully, if they don't have any other orders. So that's 3 years of rent already. That's paying for my mortgage. And plus, on the other side, it was rented at $750. But me, I already painted the full. I painted the whole house inside on the walls, and I'm putting new carpet next week. And I'm raising the rent for that one to, it was $750 with the previous rent, but now I raised it up to $975. So the reason why for that too as well, because they have new appliances as well. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on both sides. It's just the one at the attached garage it's bigger in size, and plus they both have their own backyards and stuff like that. So $975 with me would work, and that's honestly a good price to put that property at.
Yeah, you're gonna be cash flowing nice with that one, man. One of the things that you said that really stuck out that I think the audience needs to hear is sorry, I drew a blank. Here it is right here. You thought about the whole process. You weren't worried about just one aspect. So you talked about how you offered 185, they countered at 205, whatever the case is. Cool, yippee-ki-yay. But you said, hey, 195 will work. It'll still work. I'd rather get something than worry about a home run. I'd rather get a base hit than a home run. Right. Then you thought about the rent. You was like, all right, well, 1,300. Well, hell, now I'm paying out of pocket. Okay, 1,200 will work, right? And so ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, your return is still in the triple digits. Yeah. That's why I tell everybody, when you're looking at real estate, as long as you define a criteria for you, if you had said, hey, I just need my return to be 15%, 20%, then as long as you run the numbers and it meets that, you good to go. Yeah. It's still in triple digits, right? Yeah. So I think that's super important for people to understand. It's not about getting the best deal every single time. It's the consistency of acquiring deal after deal that'll get you to your financial freedom and all that other stuff. So kudos to you for that, for having that mindset, man.
Thank you, Mike. But for me, honestly,
Go ahead. You're good.
Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that, like, me personally, that I was doing the right thing, because me personally, after I get out the army, I want to put my whole way of life into real estate. So I want to build a real estate empire for myself. So I knew with this start, it's going to be the foundation for me, knowing that, okay, if this doesn't work, okay, how can I make sure that I can be able to produce at this level or get that same amount of return back on another deal or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Excellent. So right now you're collecting $1,200 in rent. It's probably going to be for the next 3 years. When does that person move in?
In March, mid-March.
So, but he's already paid the first month's, I assume.
No. So with the mid-March, so I'm only going with my property management. They did like this, since they're coming in mid-March, they like pay half of the rent.
Okay.
But plus they have so they have a pet too, and I allow pets, but with a deposit, and it's non-refundable. So, but for April, they'll give me the full rent. So from April on, it'll be $1,200 every month.
Okay. So are you managing it yourself?
No, I made sure that for me personally, I wasn't gonna have that stress because I've seen a lot of YouTube videos. They said, why not just pay, 10% of the rent or $100, to have someone that main job is to make sure that stress is not there around you. Because honestly, like I'm just getting into real estate, so I don't really know. I'm not a handyman. I just know YouTube. But that property management, they know the area too, so they know what's the best one or who to hire or who to call when it comes to fixing things. So I knew that having a property management would be the best option. And plus, while I'm living there, I don't want the tenant to know that I'm the owner. Because for me, I feel like if they see a 20-year-old living them, they know that's the owner, and I'm giving this guy the rent. So that was another factor into it. And also, I just knew that having a property manager is the best way to go personally, because if I go on deployment or a rotation or anything like that, I have that house covered and I make sure that it's in good shape.
All right. So either way, you're just coming out $25 out of pocket, or I think your mortgage is $1,225, right? So
my mortgage payment is $1,105.
Okay.
$1,105.
Property management.
With the property management, it's about $25 to $30 a month. And I started playing with the numbers with that too as well. Is that for this whole year, if I don't go on rotation or anything like that, and I have to live in that house, I would only pay $300 a year to keep up with the mortgage, out of my pocket. And that's way better than having a whole 1,100. Times that by 12. So I'm not trying to do all that. But good thing too with that is that the way I set everything up, I'm actually going on rotation soon. I'm able to rent the other side out. So that's why I'm trying to get everything done and rent, get the carpet in and the paints and all that stuff in, so that by the time I'm leaving, I hire a property management to manage that company. And then while I'm gone, that's when I start seeing the cash flow while I'm overseas.
Dude, this is literally the quickest entryway to accelerating your wealth, is using a homeowner occupied loan to house hack in a property where you're going to be living there, chilling out of the barracks, having your freedom, right? Yep. And then all of a sudden when you deploy, because honestly, that's what the military does, right? We're going to put you on assignment, put you on rotation, whatever the case is. The VA loan clearly states if you are on rotation that you could occupy that extra space, right, while you're gone. So boom, now you're renting out that other side and you got a place to come back to, maybe short-term rental, maybe something like that. You got a place to come back to and then lay your head and you can cash flow. And this is just one of many more, because next year you could do it again. And when you change assignment or duty stations, you could do it again. So I love that mindset, man. And now there's a lot of information on this podcast, and I think a lot of junior enlisted or just younger folks in general are really going to appreciate some of the insight. So if you had one piece of advice as we start to wrap this up, what's one piece of advice that you would give somebody who's looking to get started in real estate?
One piece of advice that I would give someone is, one, educate yourself, like invest in yourself. So start reading books, start listening to YouTube. YouTube is the best university you can ever attend.
What's your favorite channel, by the way? I'm just curious.
Oh, Military Cashflow.
Oh, okay, all right, man. No, I'm playing. Keep going, man. My bad.
No, so with YouTube, like, it's crazy that like the power of YouTube, because I can see Military Cashflow's channel. I can see other people, other investors' channel, and like I get pieces from each and every one of you, and I apply it to myself, and make sure that works for me. And if it works for me, then I can demonstrate it to someone else. So definitely invest in yourself, like reading books, listen to podcasts, and watching YouTube videos, and also just making sure that you're financially stable, working on your credit, making sure that you don't have no debt or low debt, because that debt to income ratio will come in effect, especially if you don't have BAH as an income as a single soldier. So having if you don't owe a lot of money either to a credit card or a car payment, that's the best way to go.
All right. Yeah. So, thanks so much for coming on the show. You just dropped a lot of knowledge. Just like Mike said, man, this is going to be a super value add to any of the junior enlisteds out there that's maybe living in the barracks and thinking about trying to do the same thing. It is a way to start really accelerating your wealth. So it's just amazing. And I love your story. It's just awesome. To wrap everything up, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get some more of this dope behind content. Also, if you listen to it on podcast, leave us an honest review. Also, come join the Facebook group. We just hit over 2,000 people on the Facebook group, man, not too long ago. So we're very, very thankful for each and every single service member in the group, asking questions, getting after it. Paul's in the group as well, so you guys can reach out to him if you have any more questions. I'm sure he'll be answering questions there as well. And with that, this is Dan Wynn.
Mike Glassby
signing off.